Hello, I'm so happy I got a hold of you. Welcome to another exciting episode of Lucious Showcase. I am Lucious T, and this week we are talking about my thoughts on the new God of War Ragnarök. Now, this is the first release game I have bought for the PS5. Got it for that big $70. I used my $5 discount at GameStop because I'm still getting the magazines, even though I never even read the damn things. So I picked it up. And do I regret spending $70 for this game? Well, a prelude. God of War 2018, the soft relaunch of the series, is one of my all-time favorite games. It's probably my favorite PS4 game. On my top 50 games of all time, I think it was up at number 11, and it still maintains that spot. So going into the sequel, it's exactly the same game in all the right ways. It plays the same, putting on the shield and axe. Immediately, I was brought right back into it. This game does a great thing where it doesn't depower your character. You start the game pretty damn legit. Like, I played on Give Me God of War in the first one, and playing it again on this one, I almost felt the game was too easy. Now, I don't know if it's because I have all the experience. I actually went through on the original game and beat all the Valkyries on God mode. Even put out a video that's probably my least worst performing video I've ever made as far as the amount of effort that went into it, hard school Valkyrie clearing, but still, I did it. And I was walking through the game like it was nothing. Now, I can tell you it does get a little harder, but still, overall, I think the difficulty in this game was toned down. They've added checkpoints in the boss fights in some instances, and I like it. Okay, yes, there's a lot of accessibility options, and sure, I wish it was a little harder, but also I have so much experience from the first one that it is a little bit hard to balance that. You start the game immediately with the axe and shield. The shield actually gets damaged, so they use different shields throughout the game. I'm not a huge fan of that. I've been really just working the parry shield. I'm about 20 hours in right now. I'm not sure how long the game is. I feel like I'm maybe 40% of the way. Like, the story is fantastic. Now, some light spoilers on the end of the original God of War, the PS4 one. Your son Atreus is Loki of Norse mythology lore, and so the storyline of this game is basically now that Baldur is dead, Fimbulwinter, which is the legendary winter that leads up to Ragnarok, which Ragnarok is the destruction of Asgard and the kind of the end of the world in Norse mythology, is on the horizon. And Odin's trying to avert that, and then you meet Thor, so they show a little scene of Thor at the end of God of War after the credits scene. That happens at the beginning of this game. You have a nice one-on-one fight with Thor where it's just kind of a warm-up to get the juices flowing, just like the Baldur fight. More than any franchise I can think of, this is the perfect sync of difficult combat as far as that Dark Souls, Elden Ring, dodge style of combat, but there's no stamina bar, there's no nothing. So at the beginning of the game, because I've been playing some of these Souls-likes lately, I was stopping dodging, fearing my stamina was getting up, but like, oh no, I can keep doing it. Which is one of the reasons why I love the combat in this game so much. You feel like such a badass through and for the different moves. It's so fluid. They have that continuous one-shot technique that they had in the first game where there's no load screens, there's no nothing. It literally follows you from scene to scene to scene as if the entire game is taken in one shot, which not everyone will appreciate, not everyone will notice. Let me tell you, as someone who's also a fan of filmmaking, it is such a great way of immersing yourself in the story, in the world, not having cuts, not having constant angles, and bravo to them for doing it. It is fantastic. You're dealing with kind of the fallout of Atreus wanting to follow his destiny and Kratos trying to pull back. There's a little bit less heart, I feel like, even though they have a much better relationship, father and son. He doesn't call Atreus boy anymore, which, yes, I get why the developers want to show some of that progression in their relationship, but not having that, almost feel like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, in some regards, yes, I get it for the story, but you're also kind of crapping over the meme, the fan service. People want to hear the boy. I mean, he did that at the Game Awards and people went nuts.
Read it, boy.
Sacrificing that for the story, I feel like was a mistake, but sure, I'll give it to you, because the storyline, like I said, is fantastic. The game starts off, Freya is still after you for hurting Baldur. Like I said, you meet Thor, you meet Odin, and then you eventually unlock the ability to travel through the realms again. Now, I will do a little bit of a minor spoiler, so if you want to stop it here, great game, highly recommend it. Do I regret picking it up launch style? No. Is it worth $70? For me, it is totally worth $70, as it is the only one I've gotten for this. And I really didn't want to wait. I didn't want to have to wait until even Black Friday. I doubt there's going to be a deal. I doubt there'll be a deal in December. This is probably going to be a deal maybe February. Something like that once the summer's rolling around, and even then, like, it's not getting to $20 until next year. And I had to play this. I loved the first game so much. For me, it was worth it. Well worth your time if you enjoy action-based combat. If you're one of those Elden Ring fanboys or Dark Souls-like, it's probably going to be not difficult enough for you. It's not simulation enough, but I enjoy that more. It's more arcadey, more forgiving, and more fun. Highly recommend picking it up if you are looking for a game to play right now. Now, getting into some minor story spoilers, they let you play as someone that's not Kratos, so you actually play as Atreus for segments of the game. So far I've gone through 2 of them. The first one is you going back to Midgard, and because Fimbulwinter is hit, all of the realms are changed. So this is one of the nice things, is yes, they still have the same map from the first game, but you never went to Svartalheim, you never went to Vanaheim, so those are the new zones you're exploring, but then you get to see a different side of Alfheim. So before, the Dark Elves were the enemies, but even when you were there, it's kind of like, were they actually the enemies? Now, the Light Elves are the enemies. And it's very interesting because Atreus is very much go, 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 we need to get to war. Versus Kratos is seen where war leads, has seen what's happened, has been involved in that, lost his daughter, lost his wife, is very much a much more mature man trying to stop his son from going too far off. And the whole time, he's kind of giving him enough rope to hang himself. But in some regards, it's kind of tragic to see the lack of trust that's building between them, how Atreus isn't trusting his father, and how it's eventually going to culminate with what the prophecy is leading to, which I won't get into, but you can kind of guess where that's going. But these Atreus scenes, at the start, at the offset, I loved. I loved playing as it. It was interesting playing as the ranger. But the second Atreus scene, when you go to Jotunheim, started to bog down. So I get what they're trying to do, but they really are trying to force too much too fast. Immediately they're trying to make Atreus fall in love with this new giant girl that just feels forced. I don't believe it. It's so slow. It's kind of like, all right, let's get back. Let's get back to Kratos. Come on. That was one of the good things about the original Last of Us, is I believe you played as Ellie for a little bit, but not enough to make you really want to, okay, can we get back to it? Because it's such a different play style, especially for me who's playing it on the hardest difficulty. It's hard to immediately be ripped out of what you're comfortable with. And I think for people playing on the hardest difficulty, that'll be where they might tone it down, because Atreus is not Kratos. It's not as powerful. It's not as oomph building. Like, I appreciate they give you a different play style, using the arrows, using the different things, and even the giant girl is very cool with the ability she has, but it just started to slow down. And that's my one concern with the game so far, is I feel like the Atreus bits slow the plot down a bit too much, and I think they could have shortened at least that Jotunheim section by about half, because you get 4 different things. It's like, okay, we're slowly walking through the forest to feed the animals. Oh, okay, we need to go and rescue the animal soul. Oh, okay, we need to go and clear out this sinkhole. Like, it's just, okay, can we get back to Kratos? Can we get back to him? So that's my chief complaint with the game so far. Thoroughly enjoying it. There's a lot of funny moments too, because you have people that will be with the group. So you and Atreus, you'll rescue people, or you'll see other people, and they'll make comments about you going around searching for loot. Like, one of the dwarfs is like, oh, you love your loot, not missing a single scrap, are you? Or people will be like, why is your father going off in that direction? We're going here. It's like, oh, he's looking for chests. Or, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I see, there's a chest over there. Or when Atreus tries to open a chest himself and tries to punch it and hurts his hand, it's like, oh, it's not as easy to punch through these chests as it looks like. So the humor's on point. Loving the game. It's just as good as the 2018 version. Looks great on the PS5. The graphics are fantastic. The HDR looks great. Now I have the variable refresh rate on my TV, which I'm sure makes it better. I don't know. I'm not adept at recognizing these things, but fully recommend God of War Ragnarok. Looking forward to seeing where it ends. Boss fights just as engaging. Gameplay just as engaging. They kind of neutered Niflheim. Now Niflheim isn't the cool place it was in the first one. But yeah, that's what I mean. All the different places have changed because of Fimbulwinter. So just brilliant. Brilliant game design. Like I said, the only thing I think is the Atreus things got a little overblown. I don't know if they're trying to set up a new spin-off or a new gameplay style, but it is not anywhere near. And even the Blades of Chaos, I can't tell you, the shield and axe gameplay is some of my favorite gameplay I can think of ever. It is so engaging. So anyways, yes, highly recommend God of War Ragnarok. Go pick it up. Let me know if you've picked it up. Let me know what you think if you got a PS5 now, because they seem to be coming faster and furious now. So yes, it was so nice getting a hold of you guys. Take care.